It's windy as That's right. We have to deal with wind today. It's going to be anywhere between 50 kilometers an hour or, like 30 miles an hour. And that starts to be where you need to think about broadside winds hitting your RV. Dead broadside winds at 30 miles an hour. This is probably, hopefully you can hear this. That's where you need to start pulling over. If you're doing a headwind in the 30 miles an hour, or 50 kilometers an hour, or something like that, it's not the worst. It just means you're going to lose a lot of gas mileage. So since we're still in town, we're getting coffee, and then we're going to hit the road and deal with the wind. Go look at some dinosaur museums. Alberta don't play. They got the 10% and the 35% green. Those are your two choices. All right, well, we're driving due east. We're leaving Grand Prairie. We're finally leaving our town day that we just had. Lots of shopping, lots of spending money, lots of parking lots. But we are heading back out. We're on this Grand Prairie, which is why they call it Grand Prairie. And like I said earlier, it is a windy day. 20 mile an hour or 35 kilometer hour winds. But the good news is it's coming in due westbound, right? So we're heading east and we're driving straight into it. Now that means I'm going to get the worst gas mileage ever. But the good news is that will be stable. At some point, we're going to have to turn north again after we look at the Dinosaur Museum. And that is when I'm a little worried, because that'll be a broadside wind. And having been raised in California and driven up and down the coast, I know that the broadside winds can really hurt. My only incident with the Ember, and where I tapped a truck driver's mirror with the back end and broke it, that was in broadside winds. So I am keeping that in mind and staying away from trucks. Out here on the wide open prairie, you don't really expect to see a stunning world-class museum, but that's exactly what you get with the Philip J. Currie Dinosaur Museum in Wembley, Alberta. This gorgeous museum, it kind of looks out of place against the wheat fields, but it's nothing short of a Canadian treasure. The museum is named after Dr. Philip Currie, one of Canada's leading paleontologists, and it also exists thanks to the Aykroyd family. Yes, that Aykroyd family. Dan Aykroyd, a Canadian treasure himself, has been a big supporter, helping bring this dream to life out here outside of Grand Prairie.
We're in that direction.
Inside the museum uses the latest tech, including AR, or augmented reality, to put you right into the world of the dinosaurs, help you kind of point out different aspects of the skeletons.
No, it's not. It's just a point and click. I thought it was going to do an overlay.
So did I.
I think it's got a bad connector.
Yeah, it's off.
So the red's not coming through.
We watched to see other technicians and paleontologists working to clear the fossil bones in the lab.
Crazy.
This was selected because there's a site nearby. Joanna wants to work here.
And then we went downstairs, where you can see an amazing collection of real fossils alongside full-scale replicas. They make it really clear like what's been restored and what is an actual, real, original bone or fossil. Now there is some oil and gas sponsorships at the end because Alberta, but what really surprised us is just how lightly attended this place is. We asked about it and they said, yeah, it doesn't really get any busier than this. And so if you're in the area, if you're traveling out there by Grand Prairie, make sure you make this a priority. We're lucky in Canada to have places like this, and the way it's going to stay is more people are going to have to go visit. So check it out. Don't miss this hidden gem on your way to the Alaskan Highway.
A hair and a tail and back.
sandwich break. Some of that Alberta sourdough we picked up at the farmer's market. Thanks to Johanna for making me a sandwich. All right, it may be too windy, but I'm going to try to talk here. We are in Pouce Coupe, no, Pouce or Pouce Coupe? Pouce Coupe, Pouce Coupe. This is just south of Dawson City. I believe Pouce Coupe means severed thumb. But we're here because there is a 1930s, so almost 100-year-old timber trestle, a railroad trestle that's all timber. And it looks like pretty cool thing from the internet, so I thought we'd come out here and take a look. Plus we get to stretch our legs on this little path. So got a little visit. Apparently it's pronounced Pouce Coupe by the locals. And that's because it was explained to me by a local on his motorcycle with a baseball bat, wondering why there was a drone flying over his house. While I was shooting the bridge, a gentleman came up and wanted to check on it. Just an interested local, making sure that he keeps his area and his neighborhood safe. I mean, the baseball bat strapped to his, bike kind of said it all. But really, nice guy. Explained myself, gave him a sticker, told him I was shooting the bridge, and no problem at all. It all depends on how you carry yourself, being open and honest with the locals, being clear about your intentions, and apologizing if they were all offended by your presence, which is what I did. He was cool with it, shook hands, and he'll look for the he said he'll look for the pictures online. He'll go check out the YouTube page. So I got one more follower maybe. Jana's in the trailer, just finishing up, and we're gonna keep going, head to Dawson City next, which is gonna be mile 0 of the Alaskan Highway. These guys are going to Tuck. Good luck. Send us a picture. All right. And today's little safety tip for this video is going to be always stop at the brake checks. If you're an RV or towing, try to not take up space. The trucks have to stop legally, but it's a good time for you to stop. Maybe test your brakes just by squeezing the manual a little bit, but also, at least here in BC, and I know a lot of the West, put signs that explain to you what the downhill grade is going to be like for the next few kilometers or miles, and you can look and sort of get a mental sense of what you're about to go into and make sure you're geared down appropriately. Always gear down. Try to use your brakes as little as possible when going down these hills. Now here's something you don't see every day when you're driving across the prairies and the Rocky Mountains. A half a boat. Yeah, not the front half or the back half, but down the middle. I'm guessing they build them, left and right side and then weld them together closer to the water. But I don't know. If anybody knows anything about this boat, let me know. The guy was happy to wave. And after the longest day with the longest driving and the most stops, we decided it was time to take a break for the night. All right, it's time to give these guys their rabbit foots. Good old-fashioned rabbit foot.
Oh, that's gross.
Off, Lizzie. You kick your own. I don't even know what to do with it. goes. Oh, there he goes. Running under. Now he's running under the trailer. So we went to the Bucking Horse River Provincial Park, which was our intention to stay there. Is on our schedule. That gets us basically caught up to being 1 day behind. And basically that's where we were supposed to stay last night. However, there's been a fire here and this area was actually shut down and they haven't reopened the actual campground yet. The fire got into the campground. But right across the street was this private campground here at Bucking Horse River. So we stayed here. It's $20, you know, off grid. It's got picnic tables and rings. Park where you want. Give them $20. A couple of outhouses that we don't use. There were a handful of campers here. It was real quiet, real nice night. We're very close to the roads. You could hear a couple of trucks come through, but that was just fine. For $20, I'm not going to complain. We're going to head out now. We've got some shooting to do. We got to do RVs Gone Wild. That doesn't ever end. So we're going to find some good spots to do RVs Gone Wild. Maybe do some other recordings for some products that we got. I've got all these cool products that I haven't reviewed. So we need to get on the ball. It's not just about RVing, but it's about putting it on YouTube, and that takes work. So Johanna's just waking up. We'll leave her off camera till she's awake. I'm the morning person, not her. So that's it. We hit 100,000 kilometers on the Alaskan Highway. It's been quite a journey with this truck. This truck has actually performed nearly flawlessly. The whole time I've had it, we haven't had one thing go wrong. Now I know deep in the Alaskan Highway, I am asking for it by saying that. And I'm not saying that something will not go wrong in the future, but there was one time in the desert where I went to go turn on the car and it just wouldn't turn on. And I had to disconnect and reconnect the battery. I was pretty worried because I really was in the middle of nowhere. But I just disconnected and reconnected the battery and everything was fine. And since then, I haven't had any problems. So really that was the one and only problem I've had with this truck. I'm pretty impressed. We've got around 26, so just around 40,000 of those kilometers were spent towing. So around 38 to 40%, we'll say, of those miles were spent towing a trailer, either this trailer that I have here, the Ember, or my previous trailer. And although I just talked about how I was a little late on getting my transmission fluid serviced, in the end, this truck has performed well. I'm happy, and I'm really excited that it turned its 100,000 kilometer turn here on the Alaskan Highway. Here, I'll show you where I'm at right now. And as you can see, there is a lot of flies. So we're not getting out of the car here. Fort Nelson, getting some fresh drinking water before we go north. So I know it gets a little harder. You got to find certain sources, and it's always good to go to a Save-On and just use the filtered water dispenser. Get 6 more gallons or 24 liters, and a little bit more bread, a little more vegetables, just to make sure we're stocked up for the road in case we got to stop longer than we think. So we're gonna go do a dump, which I probably won't film because I'm tired of dumping and I'm tired of filming dumping. And then we're gonna get moving and start heading to Muncho Lake, which is where we're gonna try to stay tonight, unless everything is full, in which case we're just gonna stay somewhere on Overlander.
This is the Cinnamon Bun Center. Super excited to, I'm really hoping they have the cinnamon buns. We'll see if they do.
So we're here, I don't even know, we're at Toad River. We're on the Alaskan Highway, and we pulled up to get gas, and it's like we went back in time. You gas up, and then you go pay whatever you got. Honor system, honesty, gotta love it. That's cool. I'll tell you, we're at Toad River, although we're not staying here. This place looks gorgeous. It's got a beautiful lake. They just filled their last vacancy for the night, and it smells great in here. So if you're driving through, stop here. Night after night, this Tokta mattress has just been fantastic. We just woke up here another morning, sleeping in the bed. Really, I've said this I think already, but I don't sleep in the mornings. I usually get up and bam, I am out of bed. Like I wake up like a firecracker. But for whatever reason, ever since I got this bed, every morning I wake up, around 5, I just I'll sleep in another 20 minutes, another half hour. And it's all because this bed is so darn comfortable. I swear it is the nicest sleeping experience we've had in an RV in all of my 20 plus RV years of experience. If you're interested in checking out the Tokta mattress, head over to tokta.com. I put a link in the description. Make sure you tell them Joe sent you. Well, we broke the rules last night, just a little bit. Basically, the 2 campgrounds at Muncho Lake were filled up. Everything's kind of filled up around Muncho Lake. And we really just didn't plan on it. I did have an overlanding spot that was just another 10 kilometers ahead of here. Although when we looked on the map, it still technically was in the provincial park. So usually you're not really allowed to camp in the provincial parks. if you're not at a campground. You can't just pull up and boondock. Having said that, we did run across this very large area along the road that had, I don't know, 3 RVs when we pulled up. After we stopped and said, well, let's just make dinner because it was getting late. We'll see how we feel. We'll see how the spot seems. And it turned out it was pretty quiet. And so we decided to roll the dice. We didn't get the knock. If you are going to go and stay somewhere where you shouldn't be staying, you're going to push the limits a little bit of the rules, then minimize your footprint. That's going to be key. Yeah, we're going to put out our slide outs. I am going to put a couple of boards down because we got to be level if we're going to try to sleep or even cook. And I use the front hitch to kind of, get us up. I always make sure we're pointing down a little bit when I park so I can always lift up. If you start up, you can't really come down without unhitching. But keep your profile small, be low profile. Keep your rig slim. Don't put anything else out. No chairs, nothing. You need to look like you're here temporarily. It's the morning now. We're going to take off in a little bit. Head to the hot springs next. But, this is what I went to sleep with. This is what I woke up to. Absolutely gorgeous. This Muncho Lake area. Oh, people always said Muncho Lake is beautiful. And I thought they meant the lake was beautiful. What I didn't realize is it's like a big Banff, like Jasper park. And the whole park is just magnificent. Towering cliffs, beautiful views. Going along the water at Muncho Lake, you're like just inches above the water. It feels like you're almost driving on the water as you weave around the corners, and just beautiful. So I'm hoping, I don't know what today's going to bring. I'd love to just linger around the area. Technically, got to keep moving. This trip's about moving. It's not one of those trips where we just kind of hang out in an area. It's the first time through all of this area. So the idea was to get some kilometers under our belt, learn how this whole Alaska Highway and Cassiar Highway loop works. What's it really like? You can watch it on YouTube. You can read about it. But you need to do it to really understand it, to feel it. It's been a bunch of surprises for me. It wasn't exactly how I expected so far. All the different areas we drove through really threw me for a little bit of a loop. Different parts of BC and Alberta that I didn't really understand existed. It's not the same as Banff and the lower mainland and lower BC. It's different up here. So much variety, so much remote variety here in BC and Alberta and soon the Yukon. It's just nice to be out in the middle of nowhere with so few people and just the nature and the wild. Very unique experience up here. Love it. I see why people come up here and do the Alaska Highway. Soon we'll get a dose of what the Cassiar Highway is like, but we still got a lot in front of us. We got the hot springs, we got Jade City, we got Stewart, we got Salmon Glacier, a lot coming ahead. So we're gonna go wrap this rig up and keep driving north. Every day is as far north as I've ever been, and that's fun. So we are walking out to the hot springs, and I'm talking on the phone on the boardwalk, so I'm probably gonna fall in. So don't let me fall in, Joanna. So we're going to Liard Hot Spring. And Johanna loves sulfur. I smell like eggs now. Join us on the next episode where we spend more time at Laird Hot Springs. We head to Jade City, Signpost Forest, and Watson Lake. And we get to our final destination, Salmon Glacier.